So today lecture is lecture number 10. Before starting this lecture, I told that I would discuss something about principle of counting. Simply, you can say that permutation combination, principle of counting. Okay. So while doing principle of counting, that simply what you do, uh, you you are selecting, you are choosing a k element from n given distinct element. So your principle of counting it is dealing with choosing. You have to choose k element. You have to choose k from n distinct element or object. Simply, you can say that whatever easy to look from n distinct objects. So this is all about to principal counting here in delete. So while doing any kind of counting principle here, we follow we observe three things. We have to very much focus about not three, two things. So k and n are already given. So two things we have to focus on. First one is replacement, with replacement or without replacement. So simply we will call it replacement kind of approach. So from if you are selecting k object from n given distinct object, uh, then you have to focus on replacement. And what is another thing you need to focus? Anyone? Would you like to comment? But one thing you focus on repetition. So that it is coming in replacement now. It is with replacement or without replacement. Apart from that, apart from replacement, what is another thing? Just what is permutation? In permutation, you have already seen that now. What is important thing in permutation? What is the difference between permutation and combination? If you know the difference, then you know that other property what is essential. The difference between permutation and combination is that permutation is it dealing with order. Order is very much essential. Order is material in case of permutation, but in combination you just choosing k object. We don't see how what is order of among the k object. We are just choosing k object from n distinct objects. Okay, we never see what is the order, in which way, in which order you will take it. We never see. But when we do permutation, we always focus on order. So always two property. We always focus on two property. One is replacement. Another one is order. So these two property are very much important. So if you try to take all the possible combination of replacement and ordering, then you will observe four different kind of principle of counting. Four different kind of. So what are those? So first will come. Uh, First will come ordering without replacement. So I'm just calling it first principle. It is dealing with ordering. That means there is ordering, but no uh, replacement. There is a proper ordering, or simply you can take that like this way. There is a ordering and this replacement also as well. If someone is take first this way, ordering and replacement. So what are the possible things? What would be scenario in this? What would be number of count? What would be this I'm calling this one has, or give some name. uh, what would be this number has? That choosing k uh, object from n distinct object, when you focus on there is a ordering, also there is a replacement as well. So what would be that desired number of counting? NPR. In NPR, you remember that we write that without or there is ordering without replacement. That one is formula for NPR. But here I am saying that ordering and replacement both. So just consider this one a playing box game. So when you do this principle of counting, so what you do, you try to fix these, you try to put these k numbers. That means you are having k box. So in k box, you try to put this an element. So that means k out of n, k taken one at a time. X one at a one time we are taking k objects. So that's way here how many possibilities are there? How many possibilities are there? There is ordering as well as replacement. So how many possibility for this box to fill this box? How many possibilities are there? How many possibilities so that you can fill this box out of n possibility there now? Are you getting or not? Are you able to anyone? Are you able to listen me or not? Okay, because there might be some connectivity issue. So just if you respond, then I will come to know that you are uh, online. Okay. Now, if you come to this box, how many possibilities are there? Remember that there is a replacement. No, n possibility. There would be there is a replacement. Again, if you yeah replacement here again n possibilities are there. Likewise, if you come in kth box, n possibility. So total number it would be n to the power k. When there is a order, also there is a replacement. Okay. Now, second case will come. We are having order, but we don't have replacement. That means ordering without replacement. Okay, without replacement. Okay, so what are the possibility now? What is the process to find now this counting principle or this number has that to choose k object from n distinct object? So just come to box criteria here again. That means you are having k box. You want to fill k box with an element, and here there is a proper ordering. So if you come here, how many options are there to fill up first box? An option, and there is no replacement. Okay, there is no replacement. If you come to fill second box, how many possibility would be there? How many possibility would be there? N1, fine, n minus one. And now, when you come to third third box, what would be possibility? N minus two. Nice. And if you come to kth box, what is the possibility? No, n minus k plus one. N minus k plus 1. So total number here, so product rule of is acting here. So total number of choosing k object from uh, n distinct object, the count would be n into product rule will come here because this activity happens in sequential manner. So that's where that means tree approach. So that's where product rule is coming into picture. N into or multiplication rule. N into n minus 1 into it will go on up to n minus k plus 1. So this is the way to calculate uh, that choosing k object from n distinct object. And if you try to put in formula way or in very permutation way, then this term we are calling it NPR. Name of this one is NPK. K I have taken here. NPK. Now there is a third approach. In third approach, what we do, we don't focus on order. Where? Here? No, it would be k. It would be k. Yeah, n minus 1, k plus 1. It is already here, given here. It is fine. Where? Y plus 1? Okay. And PR. So this formula I think fine. It is fine. You can verify it. Okay. N minus k plus 1. So actually what you are doing here, you are subtracting n minus 0. Here you are saying n minus 1. Likewise here it would be n minus k minus 1. So that here it is coming like that way, and you can summarize. Now third here principal counting, it is coming like this way. No replacement, no order. No ordering, no replacement. No ordering, no replacement. This one we are calling it combination. That means simply what you do in a bag, you are having n distinct objects, and you don't see inside the bag. Just you put your hand inside the bag and you are taking a object one at a time and taking it out. So that is the principle. That means choosing a object from n distinct object. That means you are not seeing what kind of a number of objects are coming in your hand. Just you are selecting k object one at a time from that n distinct object. How many way we can do that? So no order, no replacement. Also we don't do replacement. Yeah, it is only talking about selection. So nck, that is the a very general formula, nck. We denote it nck. Now fourth option, who will answer? There is a fourth option. I have already taken ordering and replacement, then ordering without replacement, then here no ordering, no replacement. What is third option? What would be third option? There would be no ordering with replacement. Here no replacement. No ordering, no replacement. So I have to separate it. No ordering, no replacement. Now here situation is coming that no ordering but replacement is there. You don't focus on that, means we are doing combination with replacement. You can say that it is a combination with replacement. No ordering, but there is a replacement. Always we do replacement. Whatever we are taking out, uh, to cover up that, we are putting same number of object there in the box, in the bag of an object. So here we observe. So I won't discuss much about this, but I am directly writing formula for this one. Derivation is very simple. Just think about this, how it is coming. It would be n minus 1 plus k. This is a formula for no ordering with replacement. So today I won't discuss. Just you think over this. Derivation is very simple, and I will discuss in next class. If you fail to explain this one, then that time I will discuss it, how it is coming. So right now just focus on fourth one. What is the formula? And just if you have any issue regarding first, second, and third, you can ask question. And regarding derivation of fourth, it is very simple. I will talk in tomorrow. Just for understanding purpose, I am leaving it because it is very much essential to understand how it is coming. And there is a little bit you may see that fourth one is a little bit harder than 1, 2, and 3. So that's why I left it. Try to understand it from your 12th book, and then I will explain it. Okay. So I am going to start today's lecture. Today, I will discuss in detail about again total probability and Bayes rule. So it is all about once you understand total probability and conditional probability, then you can easily understand Bayes rule. That is the concept or Bayes theorems. Some book they are writing it Bayes theorem. So I will take few recap from total probability. Few example I have taken it here. So one example that conditioning conditionally rolling a four-faced dice twice. So we are having a dice which is not having regular, which is not a regular dice. It is a very specific dice that one is having just four face. That means in sample, if you roll a dice once, and sample of space would contain just four face, four number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that kind of things. So you roll a die, pair four-sided dice. If the result is 1 or 2, so we are rolling a dice, four faces, face dice, four-sided dice. If result is 1 or 2, we will roll that dice again one more time. Otherwise, we will stop. What is meaning of that? So first time if we are rolling a four-sided dice and we are getting, suppose we got 1, then we can roll that dice again twice. We can roll that twice. If you are getting in first roll 3, then we will stop there. If we are getting in first roll 4, then we will stop there. So that is the random experiment. Okay. So now question is that what is the probability that sum total of our roll is at least 4? The sum of roll. So if you roll twice, then sum would be less than equal to 4. What is the probability? So that probability we have to find it out. So what we have to do? So again, I told that we have to do partition of sample space. From that perspective, we are going to introduce event BI. BI is talking about the event that result of the first roll is I. Result of the first roll is I. So that's why probability of BI would be 1 by 4, because we know that if you roll a dice once, then getting any face is equally likely. So that's why equally likely all faces would have same probability. That probability is 1 by 4 because the dice is having 4 face. So that's why probability of BI is 1 by 4 for each face. Okay. We are considering this is the event for which we need to calculate probability. So that event we are calling it A. So let A be the event that sum total is at least 4. That means less than equal to, no, sorry, at least 4 means greater than equal to 4. Sum of the uh, outcome is greater than equal to 4. So when you roll once or twice. So also if you roll once, there is a possibility of getting 4 when you are getting 4 in first roll. Then after that you have to stop. So that is the criteria. Okay. Now event we have already seen that we will try to find probability of those conditional probability hidden due to partition of sample space. So so you can observe that given the event B1, suppose B1 is already happened. What is saying B1? That means we are getting 1 in the first roll of dice. B1 is the event it is talking about. We are getting 1 in the first roll of dice. So probability of B1 would be what, 1 by 4. That one is fine. Now, in this case, we will focus on event A. Once B1 is already happened, then what would be A? So if B1, so 1 we got in first roll. So then we are allowed to go for second roll of the dice. So and so in such a way that our in event sum would be at least 4. So what are the possibility? That means probability that we are talking about once b is already b1 is already happened, then what are the possibility that this sum is at least 4? So what would be here? One is outcome of first roll. Then in second, what are the possibilities? Tell me, what are the outcome? What would be? What are the possible outcome once b1 is already happened? That means b1 is talking about getting 1 in the first row. getting phase 1 in the first roll. So what are the possibility? What would be? Anyone would like to answer? Because uh, you are talking about happening of one. You have already seen B1. Event B1 you have already seen. Then you are talking about event A. That means at least 4 you will get. That means one, if you are getting one in the first roll, then you are allowed to go for second roll. So because one is the outcome in the first roll, so we are allowed to go for second roll in such a way the sum would be at least 4. So what are the possibility? Possibility would be here 3, 1, 3, 1, 4. 1, 2 would be not a possible event. So that means two possibilities are there. Out of how many? Out of four possibility. That means if one is already happened in first roll, then in second roll, what are the possibility? So here four possibility would come here. For 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the probability of A given B1, it would be 2 by 4. And if you simplify, it come 1 by 2. Once you have already seen happening of B1. So that's way. So probability of A given B1 would be 1 by 2. Similarly, suppose event B2, you have already seen that. Event B2, you have already seen that. That means what does it talk about B2? B2 is talking about that when you roll first time, you are getting 2. So that means you will talk about this kind of thing. You are getting 2. Okay. That's way conditional event A given B2 would be what? In such a way, 2 you have already got in first row. So what are the possibility now? It would be 2, 2, 2, at least 4, 2, 3. 2, 3. And there is one more possibility that we are calling it at least sum is at least 4. There is third possibility, it would be 2, 4. Okay. So wrongly I have calculated it. So your probability would be what? Probability of A given B2 would be 3 by 3 by 4. Okay. Now suppose uh, B3, you have already seen B3. B3 is talking about uh, happening of getting 3 in first roll of dice. So B3 you have already seen that. So what is the uh, happening of A when you have already seen B3. So once you are saying you have already seen B3, B3, that means you have already seen 3 in the first row. So this condition it says that when you observe 1 or 2 in first row, you will roll once more. But when you observe other than 1 or 2, you need to stop. So that's way there would be no event of A. We will not talk about happening we will not get anyhow 4 because we have already got 3 in first roll. So that's way uh, once we have already seen 3 in first roll, that means we have seen B3. Then what are the count? So this one would be empty because we are not going to perform second role. So that's way anyhow we want to observe happening of A. Happening of A, it is talking about at least 4. Some would be at least 4. That we will not say. That's where probability of A given B3 would be 0. When we have already seen B3, then probability of A given B3 would be 0 because we will not perform second roll of the dice. So that's where 0 it is coming. Now, third criteria is third the condition is coming that it says that suppose before you have already seen that. Before you have already seen that. So that means your event containing first entry is 4, second maybe anything. Okay. So but here what is happening here? If you have already seen before that A given before, does A occurs or not? Who would like to give it? Talk about the occurrence of A, whether A is happening or not. That means sum is at least 4 is not. It is 4 or not. What would be that? Surely A occurs. Yeah, yeah, 4. It would be definitely by default A occurs because B itself contains before itself contains it is talking about getting 4 in first roll. So there is no, it is already we got 4 in first roll. So there is no need, there is no need to go for second roll. So we have already seen that sum is at least 4. It is 4. That means at least 4. That's why it is also talking about occurrence of A. That's why A here becomes a sure event or certain event. That's the probability of A given B4 is 1. A given B4 is 1. So now we can apply all these things, and finally using total probability we can calculate probability of happening A. So this would be uh, based on theorem of total probability we can calculate this probability. Here A given B2 it was 3 by 4. Just modify it and you can find, just do calculation. Everything is already given over, BI is given over, and probability of A given, BI is given here. So you can calculate everything here and final solution you can get it like this way. Now we will talk about another problem that is talking about again total probability theorem. What does this? Suppose there is one student, her name is Alice. So Alice is taking a probability class. At the end of each class, at the remember that every term is very much essential. Alice is taking a probability class. At the end of each week, each week she can be either up to date or she may have fallen behind. Either she would be up to date after end of each week, either she would be up to date or she may have fallen behind. Remember that this one is your random experiment. Okay. Now, if she is up to date in a given week, these are the further partial information. Remember that these are the partial information that you have to utilize in order to calculate total probability. So, if she is up to date in a given week, the probability that she will be up to date in the next week is 0.8, or she would be behind in the next week with probability 0.2. With probability 0.8, she will be up to date in the next week, given that she is up to date in the given week. And she would be behind with probability 0.2, given that she is up to date in the given week. So this condition. Another scenario is given here. If she is behind in a given week, the probability that she will be up to date in the next week is 0.6, or she will be behind in the next week with probability 0.4. So these two information are given, partial information. Based on this, we have to calculate. So many things. What we will see here, sequential problem, sequential many problem. So suppose Alice is by default up to date when she start the class. So by default at the beginning she is up to date. By default we assume that. Okay. What is the probability that she is up to date after 3 weeks? So this probability we have to find it. So that means we have to calculate probability of up to date. That's the probability of U3 after 3. Probability of U3 we have to calculate. So we have to calculate all these. So first try to collect the information. What are the information? And few things we have to introduce it here. What are those? So we are calling it UI. It is talking about Alice is up to date after ith week. And BI is the event. It is talking about Alice is behind after ith week. So you know UI, BI. These are the given. These are the events we have already defined. Now, from the this assumption, it says that Alice is up to date by default. By default, when she starts, so definitely she will start. Uh, when she will start, then first week would be treated as first week for her. First week for her, not for others. It would be first week Alice for when she will start. Then after spending 1 week, that 1 week would be first week for Alice. So based on that, uh, we consider that it is by default is Alice. We consider whether she is behind or up to date. No mention in first week. Just we have given freedom. She will be treated as up to date. So that's where probability of U1 it would be 0.8 and probability of B1 would be 0.2. By default, it is coming from this statement. Okay, this one is coming. Now coming to second week, U2. It is okay. Alice is up to date given that uh, given that she is up to date in the first week after first week. So that's the probability of U2 given U1. It is 0.8 and given that probability of B2. B2 is talking about behind probability of Alice is behind after second week. So probability of B2 given that C is up to date in the after first weeks U1. So that probability is also given. It is 0.2. So this quantity it would be always fixed. Similarly, probability of U2 given B1 would be 0.6. That means B1 is talking about C is behind after first week. So here given quantity, it is just C over conditional probability. Probability of U2 given U1. That means we are trying to calculate probability of up to date after second week given that Alice is behind in the first week after first week. See, Alice is behind of the first week after first week. So that means we are using this statement. Through this statement, it has been translated into this way. 0.6 probability of B2 given B1 is 0.4. So all the information we have already taken out from the question. So everything now we are having. So we are going to, but our intention we have to calculate U probability of U3. That means what is the probability that C is up to date after third week third week, so that we have to calculate. So before that we have to calculate probability of U2. That means probability that C is up to date after second week, so that we have to calculate. So in order to calculate that, we have to apply again total probability. So probability, in order to calculate probability of U2, what would be? So if you are in second week, then there are two possibility that after first week, either you would be Alice would be up to date or Alice would be behind. So that's why U2 intersection U1 plus U2 intersection, that means partition. So if Alice is in second week, so partition would be U1 and B1. So that's where these two things are coming, and just apply multiplication rule, and that what we are calling it total probability. Apply this and calculate it here, and finally it would be 0.8. If you calculate this, you will get 0.8. Any question? Anyone is having any question? No. Okay, fine. So here, if you calculate this, so here my intention is that calculation might be wrong or right. So don't much bother about calculation. Just bother about the meaning of this total probability, how we calculate. So that calculation process must be correct. The calculation that of number, it might be human error. There is no so we can't say much about that. But when you apply that concept must be clear. So we have already calculated probability of U2. Now similarly we can calculate probability of B2 as well. So in order to calculate probability of B2, so again we will use partition that either in the first week Alice would be behind or up to date, or she would be behind. So that's where we are taking these two probability. That means total probability we are calculating. Probability of U2 we are calculating like this way, and just apply here. In order to calculate this joint probability, we apply multiplication rule, because the dependency between B2 and U1 and B2 and B1. So that's why we apply this multiplication rule separately. For each individual joint probability, we apply multiplication rule, and finally we calculate the probability of B2 is 0.24. Final calculation. Now we are having probability of U1, probability of B1, probability of U2, probability of B2, and also the conditional probabilities. Okay, so we can be able to calculate probability of U3. So probability of U3, that means U3 is talking about probability of Alice is being up to date after third week. So after third week, that means she have already come across from second week. So that's why partition will be defined by U2 and B2. So you have to do partition of U3 with respect to U2 and B2. And just here, in order to calculate this joint probability and this joint probability, apply multiplication rule, break it into in this part and in this part, and calculate it. And probability is coming 0.722. So this probability was the desired probability. This one we had to calculate. If someone is willing to calculate for various other probability, then that person may go for that. It's from from the same given information, you can calculate probability of U4, probability of U5, and U6. Likewise, you can go U100. Anything you can calculate from here. You can calculate uh, so based on that given information is enough. So I have already calculated probability of B3 as well, but it was not needed in that question. Additionally, I have calculated this one probability of B3. It is coming as 0.28. So what is all about that? It is just application of total probability. How much you are good in applying that definition of total probability. So I have given a sequential pattern. So if someone is willing to calculate probability of ui plus 1 for general I, you can calculate like this way. That means you need to know previous probability of ui and bi. Easily you can calculate all these. These are the sequence. Similarly, for probability of bi plus 1, you can calculate like this way. So you can easily calculate a lot of probabilities after several weeks. Now coming to Bayes theorem, I think it is already 45 minutes. So I will talk about few things, then I will wind up, and next class I will discuss in detail about Bayes theorem. So see, in simple, if you ask about what is the main uh, conclusion of Bayes theorem and what does it say, actually it is talking about the relation between posterior and prior probability. In short, I would like to say that Bayes rule is talking about relation between posterior probability and prior probability. That is the concept. So again, so suppose we are having a sample space due to some random experiment. You perform random experiment, and due to that random experiment, we are having a sample space. So for that sample space, we define a partition by bringing these member, this which happens to be mutually disjoint and collectively exhaustive, and assume that each member of that partition definitely is having some outcome. It is not a null set or null having no outcome. It is not like that. So definitely each member of that partition is having some outcome from the experiment. So that's where we are saying that probability of AI is greater than equal to 0. Now we consider that some event B is happening. Some event B. We don't know in sample space it is there in, okay, some event B is there. That means in such a way that B is also happening. That means we are saying that the probability of B is greater than 0. Okay. Now, so what we do? So these are the prior probability. Due to a structure of sample space, due to a structure of problem, we come across this partition, and due to that also we come across this prior probability. Now someone is saying that if some event B is happening and you have already seen B, based on based on that, is there any update in the probability of the member of partitions? Is there any update? So this probability we are calling it posterior probability of AI. So this posterior probability of AI simply how we will calculate. So we will calculate with respect to B. Now event B is happening with respect to B. So we calculate that probability of A is happening in B divided by probability of B. So now in order to calculate probability of B, it would be not given. So to calculate probability of B, we have to apply total theorem, total probability theorem. So this one is coming with respect to partition by using total probability theorem. So you can say that it is one way of directly coming from definition of conditional probability, but there is a difference that here the denominator we calculate it through total probability, and also in the numerator also we apply multiplication rule. So here it is that's why I told that it is directly coming from multiplication rule, and the denominator is directly coming from total probability. So rest of thing I will discuss in next class. Regarding attendance, put your roll number there in comment box. Otherwise, your entry and everything is already recorded there in the Google Classroom. Also through. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I am going to wind up today's lecture.